It has now been more than 48 hours since Konami launched the Festive Season Campaign, and honestly, the reactions across the community have been wild. When those card selections dropped, a lot of us were shocked, because many of the names were not the players we expected at all.
Hi.
Okay.
Yet, when you actually look closely, most of them are genuinely strong options depending on how you play. But ever since, my messages have been filled with one repeating concern. People keep asking me, bro, if I already have one player in a particular position, do I still need to choose another from this campaign with the same position or similar playstyle? It seems simple, but the confusion is real because choosing one wrong player might lock you out of a playstyle for weeks, and that question is exactly why this video exists. Then things became even more specific. A lot of you kept mentioning only two names, Javier Zanetti and Filippo Inzaghi. Those were the two players that viewers wanted help deciding on more than anyone else. So today, in part 1, we are focusing strictly on Javier Zanetti. And to answer properly, we have to compare him to the 3 free epics and showtimes we were allowed to select from in previous campaigns. Andrew Robertson, Mikel Silvestre, and surprisingly, Martin Caceres. Now personally, I don't even understand why this comparison became such a popular debate. The reason is simple. Silvestre and Robertson come with completely different pay-to-win skills than Zanetti, so they fill slightly different tactical needs. However, because a lot of players are unsure which ability matters more for their squad, I need to break it down clearly for those struggling to make a confident decision. First, before we talk gameplay feel, let's clear a misconception. Zanetti does not have the edged crossing skill. So, if you are selecting him expecting the kind of devastating whipped balls that Robertson delivers, you will be disappointed. Yes, Zanetti is naturally an attacking fullback, and he overlaps into the opposition half. But crossing is not where his game shines. You should not go in expecting outrageous deliveries from the wing just because of his role label. What Zanetti does have is one of the most situation-changing defensive abilities introduced recently. His pay-to-win skill is called Fortress. Fortress improves defensive reaction, positioning intelligence, physical engagement, and tackle timing during the second half of the match, but only if your team currently has the lead. That condition is important. You must be winning. However, when Fortress activates properly, you immediately feel the presence. It is as if he becomes a captain and shifts into lockdown mode. Players trying to dribble around him lose momentum, attempts to get past him become predictable, and he stays glued to his defensive shape. It mimics the way late-game defensive leaders behave in real football. Stepping up when protecting a lead becomes the priority. Personally, when I want to use him to his full potential, I sometimes play him at center back instead of fullback. That might sound strange to some, but it makes perfect sense once Fortress activates. I also give him defensive instructions so he holds position rather than overlapping. This way, during the second half when most opponents push numbers forward to equalize, he becomes a wall guarding that final line instead of wandering into risky attacking positions. Now let's transition into stats and gameplay feel. Statistically, Zanetti edges the other 3 in several defensive metrics. However, each of the other cards holds advantages in isolated attributes. Silvestre has better passing abilities and more flair and build-up movements, making him ideal for possession-oriented fullbacks. Robertson feels smoother on the ball, has better control, and much better curl on crosses, which is not surprising because of the edged crossing skill he carries. Caceres is the closest to Zanetti in raw defensive stats and aggression levels, but even then Zanetti slightly outshines him in stability and decision-making under pressure. And then there is the gameplay feeling, which is different from stats on paper. Zanetti simply feels more reliable, especially when protecting a slim lead entering the final half hour. Players who like to play aggressively with their fullbacks might not see his full potential immediately, but for players who understand tactical discipline and late-game tempo control, he offers a huge advantage. That does not automatically mean you should choose Zanetti without thinking. This video is not telling you who to pick, but instead clarifying why the comparison exists and giving you the knowledge to decide based on your squad and playstyle. One combination I want to highlight is pairing an edged crosser like Robertson on one flank and Fortress Zanetti on the other. That setup is extremely dangerous. One fullback can provide elite offensive delivery, stretching the opponent's defense wide, while the other can lock down counters during the second half once you are leading. So, as we wait to make our final selections, I hope this clears up the confusion and gives you confidence to decide whether you need another defender, whether someone like Zanetti fits your build, and I hope you've gotten at least one epic in the free tries. In part 2, we shift focus to Filippo Inzaghi. Peace.